What's the worst way you've seen money secretly influence a major decision? I witnessed a judge take bribes firsthand during my time as a court clerk. Judge Reynolds was considered a pillar of the community, respected, well-dressed, authoritative, and known for his tough-on-crime stance. Local news loved him. Politicians mentioned him in speeches. To the outside world, he was everything a judge should be. But what no one knew was that he had a serious gambling addiction. He was deep in debt and desperate to keep his reputation intact. The first time I noticed something off. It involved a local businessman named Marcus Harrington. Harrington had crashed his car while driving drunk and seriously injured a teenager. The evidence was overwhelming. Blood alcohol levels, eyewitnesses, even traffic cam footage. Everyone in the courthouse expected jail time, maybe even prison. But when sentencing came, Reynolds handed down community service and a modest fine. People were confused, but no one questioned him. He was tough on crime, remember? 2 weeks later, I had to retrieve files from the courthouse parking garage. I turned the corner and saw Reynolds leaning into Harrington's car. Harrington handed him a thick envelope. They didn't see me. I backed away, heart pounding, not sure what to think, but deep down I knew what I saw. It got worse. A few months later, the Collins case landed in our court. It was a civil suit, a working-class family suing a massive company, Pinnacle Industries, for illegally dumping toxic waste. Their daughter had developed leukemia, and after a long investigation, it was traced back to chemical exposure from a site Pinnacle operated near their neighborhood. The evidence was damning. Internal documents showed Pinnacle had known for years. Scientists had raised red flags, and executives chose to bury the data. The Collins family had lost everything paying for their daughter's treatments. Their savings were gone. They'd remortgaged their house. Their daughter was still in treatment and fighting for her life. We sat through days of testimony. Medical experts, environmental scientists, even former Pinnacle employees who testified under subpoena. Everyone in the courtroom knew how this should go. The jury looked shaken. People cried during testimony. The momentum was entirely on the Collins family's side. Then, the day before the verdict, I had to deliver last-minute filings to Reynolds' chambers. His door was open a few inches. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard him clearly on the phone with someone saying, "The offshore account is set up. After tomorrow, the case disappears." The next day, he declared a mistrial based on a minor technicality, one that had never been mentioned before. It blindsided the Collins family. Their lawyer tried to object, but Reynolds shut it down immediately. The courtroom went silent. No retrial, no damages, no justice. I filed a report with the State Judicial Review Board citing both incidents. I sent anonymous documentation. I did everything I could within the system. Nothing happened. No investigation. No hearings. 6 months later, Reynolds bought a lakefront vacation house and a 30-foot boat. A few people whispered, but no one said anything publicly. He kept his seat. The Collins family lost their home shortly after. Their daughter died 3 months later. The final straw for me came at a dinner party I was invited to by someone from City Hall. I didn't want to go, but I showed up for appearances. Pinnacle's CEO was there. He laughed over drinks and said, "Paying off Reynolds cost us less than 1 day of profit. Hell of a bargain." I walked out of that room and never went back. I quit the courthouse the next week.